So if you've got any HECs debt, then this significantly reduces the amount that you can borrow, because the way that the banks assess it is based on the repayment, not the amount. So whether it's 50,000 or 20,000 or 1,000, doesn't really matter. The banks were still really harsh on you. But early this year, Jim Chalmers told the regulators to lay off. So banks are now starting to ease their requirements when it comes to HECs debt. NAB just announced that they'll disregard any HECs debt under $20,000. And this is literally rolling out this week. And it's going to have a big impact on how much you can borrow. So to show you exactly how much, let me share my screen. Okay, so this is my servicing calculator. So let's say there's a guy called Bob, no dependents, lives in Marrickville. I'll restrict this just to NAB because they're the ones that release the policy. So he earns $100,000, and let's say he has a HECs debt of $20,000. That would mean that he can borrow just under $500,000. And as I was saying, it doesn't really matter how much the HECs debt is, it's about the repayment. So even if it's just $1,000, still the same amount, just under $500,000. But the good news is that NAB won't be considering HECs debt under 20 grand, so we can just ignore that. And then let's see what happens to the servicing calc now. So there you go. Now we can borrow just under $560,000. So an extra $60,000 in borrowing capacity, which could mean the difference between a suburb that he loves and a suburb that he hates. And let's say he had a wife, Cindy, she earns $100,000 too. So if they both had $20,000 of HECs debt, they could only borrow $1 million, but let's ignore that. And now they can borrow an extra $116,000. So obviously this is a very welcome change from NAB, and CBA have also softened their HECs policy too, and I think other lenders are going to follow suit. But it just means that people with HECs debt have more optionality now.